It is only when we truly know and understand we have limited time on earth, and we have no way of knowing when our time is up, that we will begin to live each day to the fullest, as if it were the only one we have. "20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. The purpose of life, after all, is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for a newer and richer experience. To those who stay put, the world is but an imaginary place. But to the movers, the makers, and the shakers, the world is all around, an endless invitation. So the only question left to ask yourself is, where should you go now?"
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be around the world. Ali Madawi here with you with a brand new installment of Yup Daily. And oh my goodness, I got a good one for you. Wherever you may be watching, I need you to tell me some good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and where you're chiming in from. Today, we're going to talk about how you can become a mega speaker, how you can create immediate influence, and why it is important for you and for your business. If you know, yesterday we talked about lack of visibility. If you're not having any visibility in the business world, no one is buying anything from you. And some of the things that you can do to really and genuinely and truly create an impact is to become a speaker, because as you're doing Facebook Lives, or you're doing conventions, or you're doing any speeches, you want to make sure that you are connecting with your audience the proper way. And today, I'm going to share with you what I have done. If this is your very first time chiming in, my name is Ali Madawi, and I am the Global Master Trainer of the Young Entrepreneur Project, the world's greatest entrepreneurial community, where we help you start, grow, or scale a business, where you can also get paid for mentoring others within our verticals. Now, let's get into today's topic and the importance of it. First and foremost, let me say, some of you beautiful people, good morning, Mary from England. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning. Good morning, Mary Ann from Arizona. Mr. Duan, good morning. Hey, I see you from LinkedIn. Right on. Joanne, good morning. Oh my goodness, you all are all over the world. Hey, New Jersey's in the house. Elizabeth, good morning from PA. Good morning. I see you. Trust. Hey, Stina from Sweden. Good morning, JKN, aka Jennifer Kemper Norris. John White from New Jersey. Y'all keep the love coming in. All right, let's talk about how to become an impactful speaker. First things first, you got to have a specific mindset. And the mindset you want to have is a giver mindset, not a taker. You ever notice, or if you go to a freebie seminar or anybody's webinar, and the individual would have their websites flash in the bottom, and they have like their company logo on the top, and they have like their social media links. And the reason they're doing that is like, okay, if I got your attention for 2 to 10 to 30 minutes, I want you to see my website. I want you to see my link. I want you to see my social media. The mindset from the very beginning is, I want something from you. I want you to follow me. I want you to buy it from me. So if you want to be an impactful speaker, my very first recommendation is to change. You notice I don't have a monetized call to action. I don't have a logo or any social media. We're already connected. My goal in here is to help you out, no matter whatever it is that you are doing, so you can implement and impact your business right now and today. So again, you want to be a giver, not a taker. In many cases, you find a lot of people, and you can tell like real quick, this person just wants to get something out of me. And here are some of the telltales if you are in the trap of the taker. If you feel the need that you have to talk about everything you've ever done, here's how many companies I've built, and here's how many projects I'm part of, and here's my PhD, and here's my book, and if you have to keep on bragging on yourself, what you're doing is you're selling yourself from the very beginning to get influence from the individual. And my recommendation, if you ever want to do a case study, just go and watch TEDx speakers. As soon as they get on that red carpet, they speak. They don't talk about themselves. They just give value. So if you notice and ever heard or saw any of my events or any of my training events or anything that I've done, as soon as I am introduced, I give one disclaimer. It took me 14 years and a couple of months to be prepared, and I go right into the actual training itself. So doing so is going to truly allow you to connect in a genuine fashion. Now, talking about genuine, if you are a taker, you're going to get busted. Hint, hint. People are not going to watch, or they're going to get in and drop right away because they're feeling your energy. So make sure that you are operating as a giver, because you know who you're competing against? YouTube. Free videos all day, every day. So if you are starting with, if you buy my book, you're going to learn, or if, even more so, you find individuals that would be literally asked, hey, can you give me a few tips about doing XYZ? Oh, it's in my book. Go buy my book. Or you need to buy my course to see it. Well, no, why don't you just tell me right now, because you know the answer. So operate as a giver, not as a taker. I'm going to give you the next three, and they're going to be the 3 A's of being an impactful speaker. The 3 A's of being an impactful speaker. So if you picked up the first nugget, be a giver, not a taker, okay? Don't be a go-getter. Be a go-giver. Somebody drop giver in the comment itself. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is making sure that you have authenticity. So authenticity connects, or engages rather, the actual audience itself. So let me give you the best way that you can identify and create authenticity. So before I do any speeches, or before I do any training, or before I do any event where I'm speaking at, I literally practice that speech or the talking points or whatever I'm going to deliver in my head 100 times sometimes. And when I say 100 times, it could be in the shower, in front of the mirror, in the car, in between events. My brain is always thinking about that delivery. I'm imagining that moment, those 20 minutes or however long I'm going to have with my audience, and what I'm going to think about. And sometimes you can go for a PowerPoint. Sometimes you can go just for bullet points. Sometimes you can just go freestyle. Now, depending on the audience that I'm speaking with, sometimes you need a PowerPoint, sometimes you don't. But I go and I literally ask some people around me sometimes, hey, can you do me a favor? What do you think I should do? PowerPoint or no PowerPoint? And I'll get, oh, you should do PowerPoint. You got to show stats. And sometimes other people will tell me, no, man, you are amazing when you go no PowerPoint. Speak from the heart. And then others will tell me, no, you definitely need to put a PowerPoint and make sure it is extremely professional. And I keep going back and forth trying to identify what other individuals think that whatever it is that's best for me to deliver, right? But I usually fail, and I always used to do this. I fail to ask the most important person, me. What do I think is the most exciting, authentic, and organic for me? And I've learned, this is back in June of 2014, the very first biggest speech I have ever had in my career. It was in front of a couple of thousands of people, and that was the biggest audience at that time I've ever had. And what I did is I just created bullet points or talking points for myself that were for me in the actual screen, but it wasn't a written speech. It wasn't slides or anything like that. It was just to keep me in order of what I wanted to talk about. And to date, it was, I believe, one of my best delivered speeches that I have done over the last 8-9 years, maybe. And the reason I think that is because I found what was most authentic to me, where I connected with the audience the proper way. So stop making or asking everybody around you what is the best way to deliver information, or stop studying all the TEDx speakers or all the speakers that you are following and trying to be like them. Just find the best version of yourself. Authenticity, man, it connects in such an incredible way with your audience. So authenticity is number 2. Number three is awareness. Now, I'm going to explain. See, awareness is what connects the speaker to the audience. And you have to know your audience very, very well in order to connect with them the proper way. So let me explain what I mean by being aware of your audience. September 2019, it was a company that I was hired to do their national convention honorary speech. It was in, I believe it was in Dallas. Yeah, that's right. It was in Dallas. It was Direct Sellers. It's a wine company. It's no longer in business, or they sold, or whatever the case may be. So when it comes to that company, they hired me to do a public speech on their stage for, I had about an hour to do a full training plus a motivational speech. And in that company, I actually went and I took my family wherever I go. So I went with my little guy, my son, and we walked among their little party that they had beforehand. And I wanted to understand the culture. I wanted to get the vibe on who they are, how they operate, what kind of conversations they're having amongst themselves. Paul actually was in that company. That's where he and I met. Paul was one of the conversations that I've had as I was walking around the event itself. And here's what happened. I understood. See, what I had prepared, was the idea of, like I'm going to prevent, practical social media training, and I'm going to give ABCDs of success and so on and so forth. But it was a wine company. And guess what they had? They had open wine bottles that are being poured everywhere for everyone to try throughout the weekend. So here I am coming in with like my serious face on. I'm gonna give them the best of practical training there was and there is. But then this was more of a social club. It was a laid back, relaxed company where everybody is comfortable with having a glass of wine during business functions. They had breakouts all about wine. So I understood, what I'm planning on doing tomorrow is going to be too serious for these guys and gals. What I need to do is adjust. So I changed literally the music that I was going to come out with. I changed a lot of my slides where it was story driven versus it being practical training and so on and so forth. Now, I still taught, and I shared my screen actually from my phone to show in real time what I do versus using PowerPoints. So it was a delivery mechanism that I had to shift because I was aware of the audience. I was joking a lot with audience members. I was pointing at people when they smiled or they laughed. It relaxed the whole environment from a business seminar to an extremely relatable guy that everybody just enjoyed having on their stage. Now that is called being aware of your audience. So don't fall into the part of practicality or the technical preparation. I gotta be so prepared. Yes, you do have to a certain extent, but you gotta be aware of your audience. Know who you're talking to, how you're talking to them, and why. And by default, you can merge it right to the right elements. Now, the fourth piece is audacity. Now, this right here, most people struggle with it. So let's talk about audacity. See, it informs and it inspires. It allows you to share your pitfalls. It allows you to celebrate your small wins. As long as you're celebrating your small wins from a loving, genuine approach, as long as you are bold enough and calling out a spade and calling out the BS for what it is without being negative or without being offensive. For example, many of you who know me, I've written a book that called out network marketing's flaws that hurt a lot of people. And I was part of that journey for 9 years out of the last 14. And I needed to bring awareness to the marketplace that if you wanted to do network marketing, you got to do it the right way or don't do it at all. Here are the red flags and here are the white flags. Here's what you need to focus on. Here's what you got to stay away from. And many people did not like the fact that I called out a profession that made me a lot of money and I enjoyed and I love and I'm still working with. But many others appreciated how bold I was about it. Now, the reason I tell you have to be okay with bringing the audacity into the conversation because people don't want someone who's going to tell them just what they want to hear, but someone who's going to tell them what they need to hear. People are sick and tired of motivational speakers. They want real results. So you have to be aware of yourself and you have to learn how to deliver with a bold fashion. The idea that 97% of people don't make money in network marketing. Just like 97% of people who get in real estate never sell a home. Just like 97% of people who go to college never get a job more than 4 figures a month. And I can go on and on and on and on, right? It's not necessarily that the industry is bad, but you got to be bold enough to call out the fine print, because that allows you to truly provide real value. Now, how is, or for me at least, what is the best way to deliver the message with audacity? Is stories, your own stories. See, when I share with individuals that I've had a company that I was part of their leadership from zero to $400 million in a matter of 3 years, and I had 68% of that network in my organization, and I was doing very, very well. When I share with them that they had me on stage on August of 2014, that very best speech I've ever delivered, right? And then I went on and I was the one who introduced the new upgraded brand of that company. Just to find out 6 months later, the reason they had me introduce a new brand was because they sold the old brand, which is the whole company, without telling me or anybody else. Essentially, they did it legal, the phony way, and they dropped me and everybody else. Crazy, right? See, when I share that with audacity, it brings everybody to say, oh my God, I can't believe something like that happens. And it gives me the ability, the comfort to teach some of the things that a lot of people are terrified, scared of, don't want to be part of. So again, I highly recommend that you are okay with being bold. Just like when I shared that the second company, I've done very, very well. We took it from 0 to 6 countries in a matter of 8 months. Why 8 months, you may ask? Because although we looked at the compensation plan, the product, the ownership, we've done everything right. It was 27 of us that traveled the country trying to find a new home. And then that company got shut down by the FTC because what they reported in the IRS and federal agencies did not match what their book and business had. So guess what? 2 for 2. Now, I did everything right. I didn't ask them to show me their bank account and their book of business and what they were filing. So that was 2 for 2. So I started telling people, you got to really do a homework on evaluating who you are in business with, not just the company that you're promoting and marketing, right? It doesn't matter how exciting the comp plan is if it's not going to be sustained and lasting forever. I don't want to be a sales rep of a company. I want to be a business owner. I want to be a shareholder. And you got to put that business hat on, right? So doing that and speaking with a bold message, with a straightforward and right to the point, and through stories is going to allow, just like you are engaging with me right now, that's messed up. Oh my God, I can't believe this, right? Stories are 100%, bar none, the best delivery mechanism to connect with your audience, because everybody loves a good story. Some of us are just straight up nosy, like, and then what happened? Others love to learn the golden nuggets through someone else's mistakes and pitfalls, so they don't have to go through the same thing or they have to pivot themselves. So the last piece that I tell every single person is, if you are in network marketing, don't do what I did. Don't be a sales rep. See, I was the best sales rep for every single company that I ever was with. I really was. I followed, I listened, I did everything by the book. And then I got played. See, what I tell every single person, you need to be an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur means that you have ownership. See, what I'm proud of that we've put together in our entrepreneurial community is that we educate and teach every one of our members that you need to build your brand. You need to have your own niche. You need to have your own voice. Don't just be a sales rep. See, by doing so, you become really attractive, and it makes the transactional activities, the income producing activities, a lot simpler and a lot better. That's a story that I lived by for a very, very long time, because it changed my life. It allowed me to become the brand that I am today. It allowed me to do the things that I have done today. And it allowed me, just like the rest of our members, to become shareholders. And as shareholders, they own a piece of the pie. They're not just sales reps. They own a piece of the pie. So don't be a sales rep. Make sure that you are building something that you own, and make the company part of it. And that, my friend, is how you can be an impactful speaker, a motivational speaker, a public speaker that has value. Let me give them to you for the 4 pieces once again. Be a giver, not a taker. If you're in there just to sell a book, you failed. Number 2, making sure that you are authentic. You speak with authenticity. Number 3, awareness of who you're talking to and making sure you pivot if you have to. Number 4 is to have the audacity to call a spade, but doing it in a loving, caring, genuine way. I appreciate and hope that each and every one of you have received the value that I've delivered. One last thing for you, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't heard, Wanderlei Silva has endorsed one of our verticals, one of our brands, and we initiated a crowdfunding option for those who want to take a piece of the pie and become shareholders at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just let know the person who invited you or wherever you're watching this from, and we'll give you access so you can see how you can become a shareholder as well. On top of that, we have tonight at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time an exclusive webinar with a top 5 Pinterest trainer from the whole entire world, and she's going to be training us all things digital marketing. If you want to be part of that, just let us know. Let the person who gave you access to this video, and we'll give you access. It's a freebie, by the way. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our Max Income Builder tool orientation. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man, should I keep going? We are going to have our Freedom Accelerator. Yours truly is going to be training in all things business development and so much more. So do not miss out. Do not miss out. There's a lot of activities this evening. And we're doing a brand valet special presentation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want all things branding and business development led by the former international expansion leader of UFC, that is UFC as in Unlimited Fighting Champion. Ultimate. Yeah, that's how much I know about sports. But here's the thing. She helped them go from $0 to $4 billion. And now we have her in our arsenal. And we're going to show you how you can have her work with you in your marketing team. We appreciate and thank each and every one of you. And until next time, I'll see you later. I'll hit you up in a little bit, Patricia. Thank you all. Take care, everybody.